Adamus International and Adamus World School, they belong to the pedigree of RISE Group, which is offering 360-degree education from KG to PG. One can start at the age of 3 from Adamus International and Adamus World School. I kindly request everyone to put their video on mute. I kindly request everyone to put their video on mute. There will be otherwise there will be a bit of disruption for the other participants who are here. So please put your video on mute. I believe everyone's video has gone on mute, and also we are live. We are going live on from our Facebook page and from our YouTube page of Adamus International and Adamus World School. And so I will just quickly take you on the ride of Adamus International and Adamus World School, which belongs to the RISE group of education, which is offering 360-degree education. So here one can join and become a part of the Adamus education world at the age of 3 from Adamus International and Adamus World School. Take up the various subjects which are available in Adamus University. And for the professional help, one can, of course, go to RISE Education. Till date, RISE has helped more than 1 lakh successful candidates to be placed in various central government and state government departments. Now, parents are choosing Adamus International and Adamus World School because of the settings, which consist of large green campus, perfect ambience for learning, and specially designed furniture for the kids. The faculty, where we have more than 250 teachers, and we are maintaining a healthy student-teacher ratio. The architecture, the affordable fees, the various co-curricular and environmental and developmental activities for the students, the modern transport facilities, the academic facilities, and the student development programs that we are having with us, and of course, the meal facility that we are providing at Adamus International School. Now, Adamus International School, which is our prime school, is located at Belgorria, and it is affiliated to ICSC and IGSC. It has a large campus of over 5 acres, various activities for the students and for their development. Adamus International School is one of the best schools in North Kolkata, and the only school in North Kolkata, I must say, which is affiliated with IGSC. And over the years, it has won many awards for the student development and provides a large number of facilities and infrastructure for the students. About IGSC, why it's unique? Well, specifically because it provides a large number of choice to the students in terms of the subjects and of course the syllabus that it has, and it is preferred by most of the universities abroad. So if the students are planning for education outside India, IGSC and Adamus International can be the best choice. Of course, Adamus International is providing facilities and state-of-art infrastructure in terms of academics, day boarding, and the various supports that are provided for the benefits of the students. And also there are opportunities for international educational tours. All this have helped Adamus International to achieve board results, which are more than mentionable, and we continue to be one of the best performers in ICSE board examinations, both at the secondary and higher secondary levels. Of course, we have also won several awards at various stage. One of the mentionable one is our principal, Mrs. Mitra Sinha Roy, has won the Best Zonal Principal Award by SOF at the zonal level. And of course, our children keep winning various medals and awards at different sports and education-related activities every year. And also we have another school, our second school, which is located at Barasat, which is Adamus World School, and has one of the largest green campus in the town. Adamus World School is affiliated with CBSE, and it was established in the year 2011. Also, just like Adamus International, Adamus World School has a large campus, a green campus of over 100 acres and 1,000 plus students, with 2 large playgrounds and several other facilities that are in support of student development. It is since I say that it is affiliated to CBSE. Definitely, CBSE is the most preferable syllabus format by parents who have transferable job because of its graded syllabus, the experimentation in the learning process, and of course the project-based studies that is there. Just like Adamus International School, Adamus World School is also providing various facilities such as the infrastructure of the building, the academics and transportation facilities for the overall development of the children. And of course, just like Adamus International, Adamus World School is also having a host of co-curricular activities for the development of the children. Also, as you can see, Adamus World School has been performing tremendously well in the board exams, both at the higher secondary and the secondary level, and across all the streams which are under CBSE. And just like Adamus International School, Adamus World School has also won several awards, one of which would include the Certificate of Excellence for Maintaining Continuous Eco-Friendly Initiatives at the Campus by the Telegraph School Awards, and several other awards and the mentionable certificates. At both the school campuses, what we believe is fire safety, food safety, and first aid. We ensure that there is 24-hour security for the students through CCTV cameras and invigilations, safety in terms of hygiene and sanitation. Both the schools have medical facilities with trauma center, and COVID care sessions have been in process from time to time, which include webinars and seminars with doctors, sanitization, vaccination for the students before the school has started. And in case one wants to stay in touch with Adamus World School or Adamus International School, the details are there. One can visit the website at adamusinternationalschool.org or adamusworldschool.org. One can fill the admission form online if one wants to. For Adamus International, one can go to adamusinternationalschool.org/ICSE/ISE/admission 2022-23. And for Adamus World School, one can go to adamusworldschool.org/CBSE/admissions 2022-23. One can have the general inquiries answered at our support system, and also which is also present in on our website. And other than that, one can have the virtual school tour if one visits our YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Adamus International School or YouTube/Adamus World School, Barasat. Other than the YouTube page, we also have our Facebook page, which is Facebook/Adamus AIS or Facebook/Adamus World School, or our Instagram official handle, which is Adamus International School and Adamus World. Our Twitter official handle, which is schools_Adamus and World Adamus, or our LinkedIn official page, which is LinkedIn/Adamus-International-School or LinkedIn/Adamus-World-School. Other than that, if you have any other general inquiries which are related to admission for Adamus International School, which is located in Belgorria, one can call us at 833-500-8844 or 84799-13763. And for admission inquiries at Adamus World School at Barasat, one can call at 84799-18043 or 83369-44340. Our admissions are going on for class 11. These are provisional admissions for 2022 to 2023. With this, I end the tour of Adamus International School. Just a moment. Okay, and with this, I would like to invite our speaker for tonight, today's evening, which is we have with us Ms. Smaranika Tripathi from Manipal Hospitals. So I invite you, ma'am, to kindly start with today's webinar, which is Acing Your Communication, Building a Wonderful Parent-Child Relationship. So over to Ms. Smaranika Tripathi.
Thank you so much. Am I sure I'm audible to all the audience, please?
Of course, ma'am.
Yeah.
You're audible.
And so without taking much of the time of thanking Adamus Group of Schools for inviting me for this session, of course, Manipal Hospitals, it is always a pleasure for me to talk about children. And the reason being, I think they are these special and the very pleasurable and the treasure we have. When anyone asks you what is the most beautiful thing in your life, I think each one of us will say that in the day when I was a child, and the day when I became a parent, and the day my children grew up. So I think the life for us starts from being a child to bearing a child and also helping a child to be a good human being for the lifetime. So this is definitely an opportunity to share experience and know how beautiful this world can be. So I would like to share the screen of the presentation we have. Just let me know once it is visible to you. I hope this is visible now.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. Read the statement very clearly. This says that, like a trained surgeon who's careful enough during this surgery, a parent need to become skilled in the use of words. Now, if I talk about what is that skill we need to have, talking does not require any skill. That's what few times before or few years before we used to think. And I think thanks to the education pattern, thanks to the e-world, and thanks to psychology, that talking and talk therapy has definitely taken a very crucial role in our life. So, the conflict or the confusion only happens when we fail to express words, we fail to understand what is spoken to us. And most of the time, this is the communication where there are lapses, there are gaps, and a few of the time, there are no communication. So probably this is probably one of the most crucial part in human relationship, which we need to take care of. So as rightly said in this slide, we need to be a little skilled as well, because sometimes our communication can inflict not physical wounds, but yes, emotional wounds. When it comes to emotional wounds, I think all of us in our life have stories which talks about some harshful words, few criticisms, few comments, and few rejections, which were part of our life and which remained as a part of our life till date. So I think it's not probably ignorant to say that communication is something we need to work on, we need to think about. So where to start from? When I was preparing these slides, somebody asked me that, ma'am, you're talking about communication, but how do we start? I mean, is there any training provided? From where do we start communicating, and what kind of a communication are we talking about? So I think the best way to think about communication, language, and speech, and the way we connected is something from our past. I think all of us remember when we were uploaded by a lot of people. All of us remember that one beautiful, blessed word from our parent, or probably one of that comment which made our day. So the language which we speak, the way we share, the way we talk to each other is something which should matter when we talk about communication. There is no training probably required to communicate. All it requires is to understand, frame what you want to talk, understand the consequences of it, and also believe that this is one tool which can create the relationship better, our relationship with our children more useful and more beneficial. So I'm sure all of us are in the world where we are too busy, too busy, juggling with gadgets because everything is online now, struggling with day-to-day activity because, going, coming back with the population growing up, and then this fastest life we are moving into, also the impact of pandemic, everything has created a kind of anxiety, tension around the environment we live in. So imagine the children who are also a part of it, howsoever they do not know or understand how it is impacting them. All they know is that they're hearing things from here and there, that things are stressful, things are getting harder, there is fear, there is anxiety, but they don't know how to deal with it. So moreover, connecting with people have become, or connecting with our children have become very important. I remember the earlier days, we used to have a storytelling sessions. And I always used to wonder why storytelling activities and why every night my grandma will come to me and read a story to me. Why this is happening. I think these stories were somewhere connecting with our life. I don't think there was somebody who was called Cinderella. Cinderella probably was one of us, and who had hope, courage, and who had the courage to conquer the negativity. And it was not only the parent or the environment also around her, which made her believe that if you have the ability to dream and hope for a better life, you will definitely succeed what you want in life. So communication, the role of communication is important. The role of communication is something which you would see visible in our children's life when they grow. So we go to the next slide, which talks about a tool. Now let me understand what is a tool. Our cell phones, I can say it's a tool, right? It's a tool to connect with people. It has many information in it. You send a message, you get a reply. You have a query, you send it through. So this is basically a channel between you and the rest of the world. So if I consider communication as a tool, then what are the things I can use it for? First and foremost, I think you can use communication to understand your child. For an example, I think how many of us actually go to our child's room and ask, how was your day? However, we are definitely, talking to them or going to their room when it comes to the examination results. Or we are definitely entering their room when it comes to the preparation for the exam. Or if I may say, if there is a complaint from somewhere, definitely we make sure that we enter, meet the child, and not only ask for the reason. I don't think we ask for the reason at all. We just try putting our commands very directly. So we become very directive. I heard this, you're not supposed to do this. So when I say that I have to understand my child and I have to use this tool as communication, I think rather than questioning, we can be better listeners. We can be people who are companions to our children, who can understand which world they go through. Many of my parents, when they come to the clinic, they say that, our children do not connect with us. They do not talk to us. They're always on cell phones. They're always playing online games, or they are mostly talking to people who are here and there. But trust me, if I may say, what do they get out of these gadgets? Have you ever thought of that? I think what they get is the people who are not criticizing them, the people who are with them, whether they are winning or they're losing. They have companions. Even if they're in the losers group in the games thing, there are a couple of people, there are a couple of children who are still cheering them. And on the other hand, if they're winning, there are a couple of children who are cheering for them. So they get that attention, they get that acknowledgement, they get that presence. Very important, the presence. You may not be really doing anything to your child, but be there, be present. That's very, very important. Coming back to the feelings and the emotions. My child is very aggressive. he uses abusive words. When he talks to us, he's very rude. He's using very, very negative versions. I am unable to bear it. This is probably a common feeling of a parent. This is probably a common statement which we get to hear from most of us. And I am also one of them. But I always feel in every statement we speak, in every line I write, there is a feeling which is involved. When I say I love you, it's not that 3 words which says what I mean. It's probably my emotion, my feeling, which I want to, transfer from me to you or to the world. So when my child is using abusive words, when my child is throwing tantrums, throwing things, not talking, try to understand what could be the reason. What is the emotion which is involved? When a child is crying when he's failed in his exams, it is that emotion, it is that feeling of losing something in his life. So more than focusing on the words, I think it's very important we focus on the passive communication, which is the feelings and the emotions. And trust me, it's not easy to understand emotions and feelings. But howsoever, you can always model the emotion you would want to show to a particular behavior. You can always train your children to behave in a particular manner when they come across a thing. How do we do that? When I get rejected in my life and I get a thrashing from my boss, and then I return home, what do? I probably shout. I probably do not talk to anyone. I probably blame each and every person who comes and meet me. So what am I training? I'm probably training my child that when you feel rejected, when you feel upset, you are supposed to shout, you are supposed to show tantrums, you're supposed to be isolated. So think how we are responding to things, because a child, believe me, would not inculcate these on his own. It is you as parent, it is the environment around us which will make us do certain things the way it is. Tell me one thing, if everybody in the environment, when they started using mask, back at 2020, 2019, 20, when mask was a mandatory thing for us, I don't think we really required our children to understand that. They were more confident and more clear about that. They have to get away with this pandemic only with a mask, only while washing their hands properly. So modeling is a wonderful channel of communicating passively to your children. Third, which I would like to focus is to reciprocate and respond. When I say that you have to reciprocate, when I say that you have to respond, that does not really mean that every time you have to say blah, blah, blah. Every time you have to say, good luck, you're a champion, you do this, you do that. But at least understanding, at least saying, yeah, I understand. I'll give you a very classic example. Few years back, when I was a school counselor in one of the leading schools in Kolkata, there was one child who used to ask many questions around the class, and these questions were basically had some adult content. So the thing is that everybody used to avoid him. Everybody used to say it's a conduct disorder, it's a conduct issue, behavioral issue. He must be taken to the counselor. The problem here is that when you start growing, the world gives you probably lakhs and lakhs of stimulation to understand, to adopt, and also to practice few. And in this course, we also get to know a lot of things which are beyond our understanding. Because whether you take it for lack of learning, exposure, or age, whatsoever, but if I have a confusion and that is not responded, what do? When first time in my life, I saw a laptop. I used to see a desktop all the time. And I saw a notebook kind of thing. People open it and then it do, and it is working as they say it's a computer. And I said, no, I always seen something which has a big box, a small box, a mouse, this and that. So what it is? Imagine what I would do. I would start asking questions about it. So I would advise the parents to, reciprocate, respond to the confusions they have. Please do not hesitate. I understand there are many, many aspects which you do not really know how to respond. You can take experts' advice, you can Google it, you can read about it. If we are reading to qualify to become graduate in our life, I think we have to read to become graduate in the parenting school as well. I know there is no university, no colleges which are providing training on parenting, but howsoever, there are classic content available in the net where we can actually learn about, we can actually know more about what parenting can be. Next would be the unlearned. Why I said that correct the unlearned, which means, of course, like all of us, a child is a human being, right? And he has the equal right to fail, to win, not to attempt, or may attempt and again fail. I would always say that, if I have to give you a very classic example, why you can't do it. Others have done it. See how you eat. See how you dress up. Every time you are on the television, you do not have time for this. Can I correct these unlearned things? Can I help the child to correct? If I am misspelling a word, can I help the child write the spelling correctly? Understanding that these are probably certain things which are unlearned to him. Probably these are certain things he or she is facing difficulty in adapting and, understanding. So rather than pointing out the, things which are unlearned, I guess it's always easy to correct it. Like in every restaurants we see, when you just put the knife and the fork and basically the cutlery is in an inappropriate manner, there are butlers who will come and make it nice for you. When you're flying in the aircraft, the air hostesses will come and help you open each and every container before eating. So assistance is another word. I would like the parents to write down these words. One is, you need to use communication as a tool. Second is, be present. Presence is something which is very important for all of us. And third would be an assistant. When you are assisting, you are not only providing your presence and your expertise there, you're also making the other person feel confident, feel that he or she is not alone. So when I'm talking about confidence here, the best way, people always ask me, how do I, gain confidence? What do I do to become confident? I think each one of us are confident in their own style, in their own way. The only thing is that probably we fail to see the reflection of it. I always suggest that, you should have a big size mirror
Possibly there's a internet issue there. Okay, Smaranika ma'am is back with us.
Okay, where did I got disconnected? Can you just tell me that?
Okay. So you were saying about how to correct the unlearned, and
okay, so we'll go from there. No problem. Yeah. So when I say that going or correct the unlearned, let me give you a very classic example for that. APPLE is apple, right? However, when I'm writing, I write APLE. A P is always missing in my life when I'm writing. When I say correct the unlearned, you can always go help the child, add one more P. P for perfect, P for pigeon, P for parrot. Create an association. The child would never forget the spelling for you. P for papa, the best word for any child's life. So create that association, help the child to correct the unlearned. Rather than putting that, why are you always missing the P? Where is the P in your apple? These are some things which can actually affect the confidence of the child. And along with that, I was saying that if a parent since whoever, I can see a lot of people are attending this webinar today. There are few small notes you should always keep it with you handy when you are dealing with your child. As I said, the first go, that use communication as a tool. A tool is always there to fix things. It never breaks. Please remember that. Second, be present. When I say I'm present, that means I'm always there. Whether I'm contributing, not contributing, just being with your child can also make a huge difference in his or her life. Please remember that. Third one would be assist. I don't think that there is any day in our life which will go without assistance. Of course, I would like to clarify here, when I talk about assistance, I am not talking about dependency at all. Assisting is as and when required, I'm there. Now we go to the segment of confidence and self-esteem. I think this is a small game which we always do in the schools, in fact, with our clients when I'm meeting them. And, most of the time they say that, how do I raise confidence? How to gain confidence, madam? What is self-esteem? I think self-esteem is nothing but what you feel about yourself. If you know who you are. And I think school is the best place where you can know who you are. It helps you build up. It helps you grow up with your abilities, and also develop or maybe modify and repair the weaknesses we have. The first thing which is important while talking about confidence is acceptance. Who you are. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have some flaws. I always declare personally, if somebody asks me that, is this your problem? I said, yes, it is my problem. And I have accepted that. So confidence is nothing but being truthful to yourself. And how can I be confident? It will come from me. It will come from the people who are around me. And it will come from the environment overall. So people who are around me are my parents, my siblings. People who are around me are my teachers, my educators. These are the people who will help a child to gain confidence in a better way. Why I said that is because every time I was told that you are a failure, you can't do anything, you are a failure, human psychology says, when there is a particular word or a statement which have been repeated and poured on human mind, there is all possibility that person will start believing that I am like that. If you all can think about, remember the day we have been told or we got rejected in our first proposal of life, that day our confidence was broken. And from that day, we started believing that I'm not a person who can propose very well. The first day when I tried baking a cake and I burnt the cake and it was rejected from everyone, it was laughed about. That day I started believing that I cannot bake. So think what we are doing to our confidence. Think how we are building our children. Trust me, I have met more than 10 lakhs of children in my past years. And every time there is a statement which I get from these children is that, you know what, I'm not very good at maths. And I ask them why. Oh, well, my parents think that, my teachers say that, and I have failed twice. And my immediate response to this is always, all because I failed twice, does that mean that I cannot attempt the third time? I think this is a question which I would like to put across to all the parents present here today. Again, second, and I think there is another segment, is acknowledging and appreciating. I do not have to really focus on what appreciation is, but yes, sometimes it is difficult to appreciate, but acknowledging is very important. I don't know how many of you have marked. I'm sure most of our parents must have marked. When you talk to a child, they would always say, are you listening? Sun rahe ho na meri baat? Did you listen what I say? So, this is where what I meant about, acknowledging, sometimes nodding, sometimes saying that, okay, I understand, or paraphrasing what you have heard is very important. I think on a personal note, my son always tells me, have you heard of what I've told you? Okay, tell me then. So, if I am actually faking any day, I'm going to get caught. So it's very important that you acknowledge what the child is going through. I understand what you must be going through. I understand what is happening. And you do not have to be a problem solver all the time. It's not required, because children do not want their problems to be solved by their parents. They are good enough to solve their problems. They just want the parents to be there, to listen to them, to share the blockage, the emotional, downness, or the dark corners of their life, so that the pressure and the weight of being lost or being rejected is shared by someone who's very dear. A few days back, I was watching a movie. I would actually recommend all the parents to watch that movie. It's called The Wonder. And in this movie, they talk about kindness. And they always say that, if you have to choose between what is right and being kind, always choose kind. Because what else can we expect from this world? If you are kind, try to be kinder than expected. If you are patient, try to be a little more patient than expected. If you are understanding, trying to be little more understanding than expected. Because I believe your journey of parenting is all about being elastic. Be flexible, be as flexible as possible. Please do not worry, you are not doing a wrong thing. Because if you are flexible today, not only that you are gaining confidence of your child as a parent, you are also gaining, a lot of bonding, a lot of care, and a wonderful relationship between a child and a parent. Express love and affection. Do I really have to, tell you how to express love and affection? I think this world of e-media has helped us even express better. If you are sad, send us, sad smiley. If you're what they call it as emojis, and if you are in love, you are always welcome to write a love letter. If you are feeling sad, you can always write to them. Please be very careful. When I talk about communication, it does not really mean that you really have to talk one-on-one. Use your speech to communicate. Sometimes when you think that I'm unable to express what I go through, write a letter. There is no harm in writing a letter. I think all of us probably have one letter at least in our cupboards, which talks about a beautiful memory in the past. There used to be journals earlier. There used to be letters, telegram, and speed post, which used to come to us during exams from home, where, we used to smell the love of the motherly feeling. We used to get the scolding of dad and everything in that piece of paper. So express as best as you can. Be affectionate as best as you can. Last and not the least, communication, use it as an outlet. I think in Christianity, they have something called a confession world. You have anything in mind, you can go confess. There is no judgment. There is no criticism. There is no one who's going to monitor you. There is no one who's going to stop you. Sometimes using it as an outlet is very, very important. I think I, being a psychologist, I'm sure all my colleagues will agree to this, that talk therapy works the best when it comes to counseling a person, a child, a patient, or an adult. Because if I use this as an open forum and I'm allowed to talk, because most of the time children are not allowed to talk. Most of the time they are interrupted. Most of the time they are guided and directed to shut up or shut down. So I think use it as an outlet. What is the harm? Maybe 2 times, 3 times, your child would say something wrong. But at least he or she will always feel that I have a position in this family, I have an outlet. People hear me out when it is required. Because no wonder many children, they say that, I have never been heard. Who is there to listen to me, ma'am? You are talking. Children actually say something like that when they come for counseling. Everybody is busy. And I understand many of the parents must be thinking that, of course, we have to be busy because we have to earn for the family, we have to get it go, and we have to earn for the living, manage everything, we have responsibilities. But out of 365 days, if you can contribute only 365 minutes of yours to a child, I think that would work. Even if you are unable to contribute that time, please express that I'm sorry I'm not there. But even if I'm not there, my blessings are always there with you. I'm sorry I'm late. There is no harm in being apologetic. There is no harm in being saying sorry wherever you feel that you have gone wrong. Again, a small story. A few days back, I read a small letter from a mother to her son, and where she has written that, every time you get angry, my dear, you say that I still remember the way you slapped me when I was a child, and only because I was not eating. I still remember you pushed me because I was very, very afraid of climbing the stair. And this mother writes that, dear child, my dear son, would you forgive me for whatever I have done in the past? I was a parent and just a parent. I was untrained and I was insecure and I was fearful myself. Sorry, maybe I failed, but would you please forgive me? Trust me, I felt that, this letter is required from all of us. And we probably need to write to our children. Probably we need to write to our parents also for whatever we have done, whenever we made mistakes. As I was telling, you have to use it as an outlet because sometimes they lie because they're not allowed to tell the truth. Be good listeners. Parents, it's very important, very, very important, because just shutting up will not help. On a humorous tone, I think there was one typical incident which happened in my neighborhood. And this mother, I just visited one of my friends and she was offering me tea. And of course, her daughter was watching television. And this one shouted, hey, why don't you, immediately the moment the mother said, hey, why don't you? The child was about to say something and she said that it's been so long you're watching television. Go study now. How many times I have to tell you that? And I said, okay, fine. Then I said, okay, fine, it's okay. Then I went to the daughter and I asked, don't feel bad, of course your mom would want you to become a topper in your life, and the way you will grow and the more you achieve, your mother will feel promoted, you see. She said, you know what, auntie, I was about to tell that, Ma, I'm switching off the TV and going if you need it. Remote control is kept there. And before even I was finishing, she told me that, why don't you study? A very big communication error. I know it's easy, but it's difficult to practice. But please do that. Allow your children to talk, even if they are telling you something which is bitter, which is non-acceptable. But once it is said from one side, passed on to the other side, it becomes easier to handle it. As I already spoken about, be a coach. I have seen many instructions from parents. Don't do this, don't do that, don't talk like that, don't wear this, don't eat that, don't go there, don't use your phone. I think we need to now change these statements. We have to tell them what constitutes unacceptable conduct, what substitutes the accepted ones. Very important. So I think when I was a child, I had a set of rules. Not that I was really liking those rules. Okay, coming back only in the evening, or washing your hands and feet before entering the house, and waking up early in the morning, and then having 6 glasses of water, 4 meals. Not that I was really liking those, rules of my family, but at least I knew what would be acceptable, what was not acceptable. So whenever there was a consequence of my friends calling me beyond 7 o'clock in the evening that let's go, watch a movie and come back, I used to always say, no, Baba, not possible at my place. Maybe when I grow more old, I'll do that. So, there are certain things your children need to know. What is that something you would not like? Because sometimes they also say that, I don't know what is acceptable at my place. I don't know what is going to happen. So be little, when we are communicating, or maybe indirectly you can pass it on to your children about the few rules or few things which you do not preferably like. Not that after you tell your children would follow it hand in hand, but at least they would know that this is something my parents would not like. And probably if I have done something, I have to substitute that. If I have not studied this evening, maybe I have to study the next evening so that I substitute my study hours. Give them options. When I was doing a research paper on the dependency on the gadgets in the teenagers, most of them said that there was nothing else in their house to be done and there was nothing else they were involved in. So that's the reason they got indulged in the gadgets so much. So they felt lack of company, they felt lack of occupation, they felt lack of belongingness, they felt lack of affection, they felt lack of unity. And that's why they thought that, gadget can be a great substitute to, to get involved and to be with. And this is again a classic statement from this movie I was talking about, Wonder. You are going to feel like you are all alone, but you are not. Sometimes it's when we prepare your child for a new grade, for a new school, for a new college, for a new environment, it's very important you talk about the emotional aspect. We all had been to school, right? We all had been into different confused, conflicted, and difficult stages and phases of our life. We know how it feels. So prepare your child accordingly. When you are eating a Karela, how are you going to feel? I think the very classic example for this is interviewing an anesthetist. He will always tell you that, I am going to make you comfortable and I'm going to put this injection through this channel. You may feel a little dizzy. Don't worry about that. And you are going to feel asleep very soon and everything is going to be all right. In this whole statement, there are a few things which are very important. One is that I am trying to connect because I'm communicating. Second, I am trying to visualize and help the patient understand what the process is going to be. I am also highlighting how it is going to work. You feel dizzy, you will sleep. And most importantly, I am assuring that everything is going to be all right. So sharing assurance, is something which is very important. So first day at school, I think many parents, madam before me who was talking, she spoke wonderfully about what Adamus does for the children, how the admission process are going on and everything. I think this is an opportunity we need to train our children for what they are going to be or what is going to happen on the first day of their school. I always tell my parents, your child has entered the school. Abhi you get prepared to buy more of pencil, eraser and sharpeners, please. Please do not complain that every day he is losing one. Every day tiffin nahi kha ke aata hai. Please be prepared to become better cooks and fast cooks. Please be prepared to, sometimes clean the clothes yourself. Bhai is not going to come. So all that preparation is very important. Help your child, understand that there is going to be like, the journey is going to be like this. When you are a teenager, what are the things you're going to feel? When you are in love for the first time, please don't get surprised and shocked. Oh my God, you like this girl, you like this boy. How is it possible? If it is not happening, then I will be shocked. If it is happening, it is a normal process. But only thing which we lack is probably we don't talk about it. So talk about it, explain the phases, also give assurance that this is just a phase and which is going to pass on. think we were at the last slide, and we are open for discussions here. I think I need to also stop the screen sharing here. If there is any question, am I audible here?
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely audible, and that was really a wonderful session. And some of the parents already comment, on the chat box. They already were sending us messages that it's such an insightful session over there, and such wonderful examples, ma'am. I believe that some of the movie names that the parents came to know today, they would be definitely watching them as well.
Yes,
Absolutely. And I have watched that movie, Wonder, and definitely parents should watch that. Actually, I think we have some questions already sent to us. I would be just asking about those questions to you, ma'am. One of the parents have asked that generally, what happens is, if your child is being naughty, if it's a young child and the child is being naughty, the general tendency among parents is to go and beat the child up, so just to make him or her disciplined. So rather than doing that, will talking help in making the child understand the situation better, or sometimes it is also necessary to have a tone in the voice, so that the child is under is at least having, okay, my dad is a bit strict and I should be not doing this thing.
See, first of all, let me tell you, when we talk about, a child committing a mistake, think about us. When we commit a mistake, don't you think we all know that we've committed a mistake? And we all have that duck happening, no? Palpitation hota hai, pakde gaye to pitai ho jayegi. But then how pitai helps, I don't know. Pitai probably never helped. It only suppressed the behavior for that moment of time. Secondly, if you are hitting the child for committing an error, committing a mistake, you are, on the other hand, letting this child know that when somebody makes a mistake, hit that person. So I'm sure as teachers, you have experienced there are many children who hit for no reason. I always catch hold of the parent. I said, you hit the child and that's why. And the best way to do it, we do a draw and test where the child would draw himself. Mummy ne mara. We ask them to tell a story about family. And they say, ki, bachche ne badmashi kiya, mummy aake dharam, 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 dharam mara. Trust me, there was one child in my clinic who said, I just asked him very politely, Ar maa ki kore baba? He said, mare, 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 mare. So the definition of the mother has become mare, mare, mare. So of course, hitting will not help. I think most important is that we need to first understand why this mistake was done. What was the discomfort? Why this happened? So when you just can't go and talk to the child saying that, why did you do this? Rather than putting it as an incident, that what I heard today is something that, there was a situation where things were difficult, beta. Could you explain this to me in a better way? Could you help me understand? Maybe I can help you. Maybe I can give you a better, because the consequences that people will unnecessarily think that you are a bad child. You may lose your friends. You may lose your reputation in the class. At the same time, you're going to make your parents very upset. So can we do something about it? Put across a question to a child, because he or she also knows, and I'm sure a child would say that aage se nahi karunga. I know galti ho gaya. So gaining the confidence of a child in these regards are very important. Otherwise, what would happen? This child would never confess, and the child would get used to it. What will happen? Zyada se zyada kya hoga? Mummy do thappad maregi, and then everything will be fine. And on the other hand, if you are thinking about some kind of a punishment, I would name it as negative reinforcement. In that case, be consistent. Now you say that you have done this. And if you have done this, as I said, be very clear about the conduct. What is acceptable? What is not acceptable? And you have done something which is not acceptable here. So as a result, your TV time will be cut down. But what happens most of the time, he has a, 2 days TV was off, third day, mummy ko bola, mummy ro padi, mummy ne TV on kar diya. Chal, I am letting the women being more kinder and dads are not. But then in most of the cases, we do not really become or stay consistent. So what happens to a child? That child takes you for granted. Koi baat nahi yaar, 2 din jagda hoga, fir theek ho jayega, don't worry. So, I'm sure I'm talking these statements, talking the dialogues of a teenager only, because that is how they speak. कोई बात नहीं, ठीक हो जाएगा, 2 दिन बंद करेंगे, third day मेरे को phone मिल जाएगा, don't worry. So schedule it, talk about what is acceptable, not acceptable. That's going to work.
Another question, ma'am, that we are having, one of the parents have sent us. Some parents have also raised their hand, raised the hand emoji. I'll be letting them ask as well. So one of the parents have asked that especially in case of girl child, how to talk to them about the adolescent changes that takes place in the phase of growing up. How to do that in a friendly manner.
I think in most of the cases now, sex education is part of our curriculum. And I think teachers are very well trained to make these things wonderful. But what happens, what a mother can do is that first you have to understand whether you have the correct rapport with the child or not, number one. Number two, whether you have understood how to talk. If you think that, plan your dialogues, how you want to start. If you think I'm not ready, there is a site wherein, which was conducted in Satyameva Jayate about the good touch and bad touch, which is still available on the internet. Parents can go through that and understand how to talk about it. The best way to educate the child on the sexual education would be, what I basically do is that, this is you, and what is the most important part of you, this one and this one. These are called the most important or the private parts of a human body of a woman child. Okay, so when you are talking about this, you have to be very protective there. Secondly, you have to talk about the progress as you grow, how you are growing. Your face is changing, your fingers have become longer, your hair is growing, your height has grown up. Similarly, all your body organs is going to grow. And in the growing process, you can step by step reach at the point where you can always teach them about the biological changes a girl child would go through. Biological changes a boy child will go through. I would advise when you're talking to a boy, a father, the male person in the house should take the charge. Actually, we get signs, to be very honest. You would suddenly see your child being in front of the mirror most of the time, or shy while changing, or taking little more time in the washroom, or not comfortable talking about or wearing the undergarments. So this is the time when you need to talk. You need to talk about the personal hygiene, how you should do about it. And the more transparent, the more confident you are, your child is going to feel even better. So that's very important.
Exactly, ma'am. Ma'am, we have another question from Chandrima Sinha. She asks that if my child is shy and cannot easily mix up with the other kids, so how can I, as a parent, help him to, overcome the shortcomings?
See, shy is again a very big term. Shy in the sense, I'm sure she has friends, maybe few friends. Or if she doesn't even mingle with anyone, expose her to places, to people wherein she would get a chance to interact. It could be an activity class, it could be taking her to a park, it could be a reading class, or it could be a quality circle time between the family members as well. Sometimes it so happened that we fail to express, or we feel that whatever we would say would be wrong, or we become very conscious. And that's the reason also we don't communicate. So the reason of not communicating may have a lot of versions to it, but I think activity classes, the best way for a child to get more communicative, getting into this swimming classes or painting classes, when you get a chance to speak and you allow the child to go and do it and participate. Don't be there as a coach. Come back. Because most of the time parents think that, no, my child is shy, so I have to be there to, give her the dialogues. Don't do that. Allow her. Trust me, these are the phases of life. Somebody who was considered as introvert today is an extrovert because environment plays a very important role. Somebody who was always denying of not having vegetable, they are on vegetables only. So I think time and environment are greatest teachers, which can actually make a child grow in a better way. We just need to wait, have the patience, and also give confidence to the child that, this is a phase, and if you try, it is going to happen. Don't worry about that. Because I have met children in my clinic where, they say that we don't want to do. It's about not being shy. It's about the questions they have to answer when they're meeting the adults. क्या कर रहे हो, कितना पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, आजकल क्या तुम्हारा रिजल्ट आया, कौन सा एक्टिविटी क्लास में जा रहे हो. So I think it is the fear of those bombarding questions which are going to come, and people don't want to, and children do not want to mingle. But yes, on the other hand, as I said, activity classes are the best way to help a child get into more of speaking.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ma'am, we would be taking like one or two more questions. There would be just one or two more questions because we are also running short of time. So there is Rusha Mitro with us who wants to ask something to you. I'm just unmuting you, Rusha Mitro. Please ask your question to our speaker. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I am able to. Am I audible to you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. First of all, that was a very wonderful session for us, very useful and very much helpful for bringing our child. But my question is that at the end of the day, we all are human beings and we all have some shortcomings. So as a parent, we will never want our child to have that too. So how can we able to no, I mean, how can we not able to actually transfer those shortcoming to our kid? That is my question. Please to answer. That will be a helpful thing for me. Thank you, ma'am.
What do you do when you get fever, ma'am?
Yeah. Sorry.
What do you do when you get fever? The first fear is that you will transfer the fear to your child, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you do then?
I used to sometimes I need to take some paracetamols or went to doctors and like something like that. And nowadays it's very important to isolate myself.
So I think if I feel that there are some weaknesses I have, shortcomings we have, then I need to work on it. So there is no harm in taking help. If you are thinking that you may pass on, you would not pass on, but you would probably, your child would learn it as a pattern of modeling. So also for the fact that if you think you have shortcomings, there is no harm in letting your child know that these are my weaknesses. And both of you can together help each other come out of that. That is also going to work. So if you have a shortcoming, you need to work on that. And you have to chalk out. And this is the way you are going to help your child to come out of his shortcomings as well. Because shortcomings are something which are part of our life. And we can't get out of it. But if we try, at least we can manage it. And of course, if I don't know whether I have completely answered your questions. If you talk about situation and incidences when I am myself upset and I do not want to, guide or assist or help my child that particular day. So what would I do? Then if you ask me personally, what I do is that I convey that to my child that today is a bad day. And I am not really in a state of mind. So I would like to take an excuse of talking to you today, my dear. So you can always do that as well.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we would be just taking the last question, ma'am. So one of the parents have put up this question that um, just a moment. Okay, so one of the parents here is Ranjan Nag Roy. So he has raised his hand up. I'll be just asking him to unmute him. So Mr. Ranjan Nag Roy, kindly unmute and ask your question to our speaker.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. It was a very
Yes,
good
good
session,
evening.
nice session. And I
Thank
will
you so
also
much.
like to thank Adamas. So quickly, I will not take much time. Just two questions, quick questions. Like, as you know that we all know that the importance of time. So for my child, to given a task to her, she takes a much time than the time. So it affects in the class, or sometimes that he used to not to complete in time. So my question is, how can I make her learn so that it should be completed in time? That's number one. And number two is the importance of reading. So if she needs to read a lot to learn to pronounce. So these two questions, if you can help. Thank you, ma'am.
See, the first one, as you said, that when you say that he takes or she takes more time than the other children in the class, this probably may need a clinical assistance as well, because I need to see where is the problem, why the child is not able to finish. Howsoever, at home, what you can do is that the best way to achieve the recorded or achieve the task on the desired time, number one is first try to split the task and allow the child to finish it. Okay, so if suppose I have to write 10 lines in 10 minutes, I will split it in 5 and allow the child to write, because lesser the amount of task given, more confident the child is. Most of the time what happens that the child definitely knows that I'm not able to finish on time like the other ones, and that is a kind of anxiety which may be affecting her performance. So what you should do, you should first divide the task and see how it is. Number two is the writing speed. So you need to help her practice more of writing. Now, just copying it from anywhere will not help, because that would be monotonous and boring for the child. So what you can do is probably ask your child to make the grocery list, the birthday card. It all involves writing. Third and most important is the fine and gross motor movements. See how stiff it is. If it is very stiff, the patterns of writing, the way the child is holding the pencil, whether it is painful here, those things are very important. This could be also one of the reasons your child is not able to finish it. Okay. And see, while you are dictating, or probably you are giving something for her to do, whether there is understanding, the understanding of the content is there or not. Because maybe it is also possible that your child is unable to understand, and that's the reason the speed has been affected. So I think practice and splitting the task and then joining would help on a very simpler method. If that does not work, maybe you also ask the class teacher to observe. You being an observer, see where is the problem, whether it is the writing style, the pattern, the child has, unable to write for a long period of time, possible. If that is also not happening, then you must see a psychologist to see why the child has slow process in the writing skills. Second, as you said, the reading habits. Are you a reader, sir, if I may ask, Mr. Mitra? For reading, I think the best is if we are readers, if there is a
Sorry,
particular
ma'am,
time.
I was unable to mute.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Mr. Roy.
Yeah,
So are
yes,
you
I
a
am a
reader
reader.
yourself, sir?
Yes, I am a reader also. I
Okay,
used to read. Yeah.
So nowadays you're not reading.
Nowadays, I get, to be very honest, I doesn't get that much time, but I try to read whenever I get time, mainly story books and all. I have a habit from childhood, so I want that my child also get the same habit.
I think when we are maintaining a timetable for your child, ideally every parent should have a schedule for your child, which should include their video gaming, which should include their extracurricular activities, TV time, and few little responsibilities at work, at home, and also the school work, homework, revision, etc., etc. It should include a reading time. I would also request the school to start the DEAR program. If it is possible, requesting the principal if she or he is available in this session, or Miss Biswas, you can always convey. There is something called a DEAR program, which means drop everything and read. This is a program which is run in most of the schools to inculcate reading habits in children, which is basically the first 30 minutes of any day in the class. And there are particular lovely storybook level wise which are designed so that the reading can be promoted. Second, on a personal front, parents, what they can do is that you can also have a DEAR program at home. So weekly once, you can read and you can write a letter throughout the week for your child and exchange. A child would write a letter to daddy, daddy will write a letter to son and everything. And every Saturday or Sunday during the breakfast, you should read that letter. So, that way the indirect pattern of reading will come into picture. Try to, play a psychodrama and act as if you don't know what is written on the passage, or say that, could you please read that for me? I would really like to know. So these are certain things which will help reading habits in children. And moreover, if you are reading and your child is around, by seeing also, the children would gain that interest of reading. And don't be very particular about what you are buying for the children, because I've seen when it comes to reading, we really want them to read Abdul Kalam, blah, 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 and what. Wimpy kids are also good. Bad boys are also good, because here we are focusing on reading, not the content. So if you are focusing on reading, focus on reading first. Second, then we will shift to the content. So let the child first learn, hold the book, and then learn the patience to read one page. Then it is easy for me to swap the content and give him something which is interesting. So as I said, DEAR program will definitely help children reading. On the personal front, have a reading schedule in your weekly schedule, and that's going to help.
Thank you for answering all these questions. It's in such a insightful way, and I believe there might be some more questions, but definitely we don't have time today.
All Aranya can help, and he will definitely share my mail ID and my phone numbers. And I'm definitely available at Manipal Hospital. Children can always come and visit me with their parents with lots of complaints around, and I am happy to help them, hear them out, and yes, giving injections whenever required to the parent. So it was definitely wonderful for me also to address and see beautiful parents around. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Smaranika Tripathi, and all the parents who have joined us on behalf of Adamus International and Adamus World School. I hereby say goodbye for the evening. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you, everyone.